Hello, welcome. Today, let's talk about yesterday is past and let's let it go. My name is Martha Burich, and I am a behavior change expert. I've been dealing with behavior modification, changing behaviors for over 35 years. Um, you know, some people get stuck. They just get stuck in yesterday. I take an AA meeting to a treatment center. And this past meeting, a lot of people were just going on and on about what happened in their past. And that doesn't benefit. That does not benefit to constantly rehash the things that happened in the past unless they're positive things that you want to talk about. But when they're negative things, things that people did to you that were possibly abusive, that hurt you, that caused you problems, things that you did that caused problems, things that you failed at that you didn't do well, people who rejected you, et cetera, that does not benefit you. Even living in the past, let's say in high school, you were top dog in high school, but you're no longer. Well, to constantly go back to high school and relive the past robs you of today. It robs you of your life today. So you want to start living your life today. Yesterday is gone. You know that song from Bruce Springsteen, "Glory Days." Yeah, that's exactly what they were. Glory days, embellished, and well, and now we're regretting our lives now because they're not like the glory days. Well, they can't be. You can't go back to yesterday no matter how much you want to. You can never go home again. That's an old saying, but it's so true because we're different people now. And it's time for us to change, to grow up, to adjust our lives for the lives we live now. The point of power is always now, this minute, this very minute. This is the time. This is our time. This is your time. Yes, you can. I did. That's my signature program. Yes, you can. I became a college professor. You know, that was my dream from the time my freshman year in college. My freshman psychology teacher, Dr. David Ziff, when I was in his psychology class, I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be a psychology professor. And today I was looking through some papers and I found some old thank you notes from some students in my college classes, telling me how much they enjoyed it and how much fun they have and how much they learned from me, which is of course very gratifying. And I'm glad I kept them. Those are the kind of things that you want to have, and to remind yourself that yes, you make a difference, and so do you. We all make a difference, but sometimes we need to grow up, change things, get some self discipline to start to really see the difference we make. Everyone's here. Everyone that's here has a mission. We all have a mission. Sometimes it's hard for us to figure out what that mission is. But anyway, that was my dream, to be a college professor. But technically, I had a master's degree when I was teaching college full time, because they hired me as a part timer, but they gave me full time hours. And so I taught a class with a biology teacher called human sexuality. Now, what the heck, what the heck was I teaching human sexuality? But we taught it. They wanted the biological perspective and the psychological perspective, and I just had so much fun and really enjoyed it and learned a lot myself. But anyway, so what's the point? The point is, do things now that are going to improve your life. The tree of tomorrow comes from the seeds planted today. What seeds are you going to plant today? Well, let's start planting some seeds of self-discipline. Make your bed, wash the dishes, walk the dog, to start taking a walk. If you want to start exercising, start doing it. Go to the gym. I met a woman at the gym the other day. She was a large woman, which I was when I started going to the gym not too long ago. Anyway, and I told her, I said, you're really looking good. I can really see a difference, improvement. And then she told me her story. She had been in a terrible accident, and they amputated her leg. but they put it back on with an artificial leg inside. So she had her real leg, but it must have wires and things inside. Anyway, her name was Mary, and she told me, she said, the doctor said I would never walk again. She was up and around and working out at that gym, walking all over the place, working out. The doctors told her she'd never walk again. Thank goodness Mary didn't believe him. Thank goodness Mary said, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong. And many people have proved doctors wrong. But what's my point here? My point is, Mary didn't let the past stop her. Mary didn't let a horrific, horrific accident and trauma stop her from living her best life. She got self-discipline and said, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to go do it. Same thing, Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you check him on YouTube. He had a bicycle accident. He was hit by a car, broke his back. The doctor said, we're going to put a rod in your back. And he said no, even though most of the bones in his body were broken, supposedly. And he was paralyzed. He was paralyzed from the neck down. But while he was in his cast, he said, I'm going to move my little finger. He just kept thinking to himself, I can do this. I'm going to move my little finger. It took him weeks, but his little finger moved. And then more, and then more. And now he's up and around, walking, without a walker, without a cane. What are you going to do? See, he didn't let yesterday, his accident, stop him from moving forward with his life. And that's what we need to do. So what is it that you can do today to start having the life of your dreams? You know, in that freshman psychology class, my dream was to be a psychology professor, and it came true. My dream came true, and I didn't even have a doctorate at the time. Now I have a PhD, all but dissertation, but I only had a master's degree, and they let me teach those classes. They hired me to teach plenty of classes: child psychology, sociology. Oh, I had so much fun at 3 or 4 different colleges. And I would prepare and just really enjoy those classes, and reading, the students' thank you letters, and how much they appreciated, and how much they enjoyed the class and learned, just really reinforces how, it was worth the time I spent preparing for those classes, to make sure that I had a good class, to make sure it was good. So you want to start preparing for your best life. What are you going to start doing to have your best life now, today? Today starts everything. Today starts everything. I think I'm on day 7 of no sugar, and it's been a good 7 days. I really I wasn't sure I was going to be able to go without sugar for 7 days. Now I'll eat barbecue sauce and stuff on things, but I will not eat a donut, pie, cake, or anything like that. Something that's specifically sugar. And it's going very well. I've lost a couple of pounds. So, you just start now. Start where you're at. Yes, you can. I did. I lost weight. I got in shape. I got healthy. I got the job. I got the jobs I wanted, more than one. It was my dream to be a college professor. My mother and I were both over the moon. And it was my dream to be a high school teacher. I enjoyed that. High school science teacher. I loved it. So what is it that you want to do? Start doing something. Start doing something in the direction. It doesn't even matter what happened yesterday. I also take an AA meeting to the jail. And, a lot of the women at the jail, they think, well, I've been in jail. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go in my life now? Guess what? You will be able to find a job if you want one. If a personally written letter to the owner of a company, to the manager, goes a long, long way. Learn to start asking for what you really want rather than taking what's given. Go after the jobs you really want, not just the ones you think you can get. And write a personal letter to the manager, the owner, if you need to, and tell them you will do the best job, and then do the best job. Ted Nugent, the rock singer, he tells a story back when he was 14 or 15. He got a job at a gas station, And this was back when you ran out and you put the gas in people's car and you checked their oil and added water, et cetera, et cetera. Well, anyway, you know, Ted came in there and the place was a mess and it was dirty. And so when Ted wasn't waiting on customers, Ted was cleaning. Ted would go into the bathroom, scrub the toilet, make it nice and clean. And they started getting more customers and things were better. Well, the owner came around one day and he said, "Wow, look at this place. Things have really improved around here since." And they said, "What's going on?" And it was because of Ted. And Ted got a raise. Well, they all complained. How come Ted got a raise? We've been here longer. And he said, "Do you work like Ted? Ted's never standing around talking. Ted's always doing something, making the place better. He reorganized the foodstuffs and everything. Their sales increased. Ted was worth the extra dollar an hour. So you be Ted. You be like Ted. You be like Ted Nugent and go the extra mile. Do the extra thing. Do you want that job? Then do what it takes to get it. Stop taking what you think you can get and start going after what you really want. Have a big goal. And you know what? If you don't get it, you're no worse off, are you? You're no worse off than you are right now, because right now you don't have it, do you? So go after it anyway. And the sky really is the limit. I would rather shoot for the stars and miss than aim for manure and hit. And too many times in my life I aimed for manure. And yeah, and I hit it. And so what? So what? What kind of a goal is that? Is that even a goal? Too many times we set these little bitty little silly goals and we get them, they're worthless. Aim big. You're worth it. Aim big. Who are you? Think it through. What are my skills, abilities, and talents? Start writing them down and stop looking at the negatives. Look at the positives. And if there's something about you that you don't like that you think you can improve, well, then improve it. But don't get down on yourself about it. Improve it. You want to lose some weight? Okay, well, then start. Start walking around. You can't run a mile? Walking is all you need to do. You don't have to run. Walking is as beneficial, in fact, even more so for many people. You don't have to run if you don't want to, but if you want to run, run. Oh, just walk and walk at a pace that makes you happy. I get on the treadmill, I walk backwards. When I first started walking backwards on the treadmill, I think I was going about 1.5 miles an hour. Now I'm up to 2.2 miles an hour walking backwards. Walking forward, 2.6 miles an hour. I don't push it. Sometimes I go to 2.8, 3.0. But the main thing is that I get at least 30 minutes of walking in along with the workout. But do something in the direction of your goals. When I was a kid, I didn't think I could sing. Well, this band used to play at this restaurant. I think it was every Saturday night or Thursday night. And just a bunch of musicians would get together. It wasn't a formal band, just these guys that would come and just play together. So I said, "Hey, can I sing with you?" So I would practice all these country songs. Loretta Lynn, "You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man," Jolene. Oh, it was so much fun. I would just get up and sing. And I had a great time doing something different. I took piano lessons when I was age 62 because I wanted to learn. I took Italian language lessons when I was going to go to Italy, and I was the only person in the group who could speak Italian. And I didn't even speak it very well, but I was treated so well by the Italians because I tried. I learned a few things. Where's the bathroom? How are you today? Nice to meet you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, things like that. And they were very appreciative. This tastes good. And it just made the experience so much better. So go out of your way a little bit. I don't have a television, but if you do have a television and it's taking up too much of your time, why don't you make a schedule? I want to watch this show and this show and this show, and then turn it off. You have Netflix, make a schedule. I'll watch this and this, and then turn it off. Because what's happening is we're letting social media, television, and other distractions take up our lives, use up our lives, the space that we need to be improving our lives and living our best lives. I used to spend a lot of time judging other people. That was wasted. I needed to be looking at myself and saying, how can I improve? What can I do to be a better person? Now I do that now. And judging other people is complete waste of time. It wastes all the mental energy you have that you could be thinking of ideas to improve your own life, what you could do to improve your own life. So start thinking rather than of what other people could do, but what you can do. What can you do? What can you do to help others? How can you help others? Do you love animals? Uh, are you bored? Do you have a lot of free time? Well, then go help out at an animal hospital or animal pound, the shelter. They need people to walk the dogs and things like that. Nursing homes need people to come in and talk to some of the residents have no guests. They just want somebody to talk to. They're lonely. You know, there's a loneliness epidemic, supposedly. The Surgeon General has said people are very lonely now. And, you know, people self medicate with drugs and alcohol. I see that so much. The treatment center, you know, they felt they felt not good enough when they were young, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not anything, not thin enough, whatever it was. I know I did. I always felt less than, not good enough. And it kept me from doing a lot of things. And it made me drink too much. And it decreased the quality of my life. So you don't want that to happen to you. Alrighty, next Thursday I'm going to be doing a 1 hour live stream. Yes, you can, I did. And we are going to be talking about all the ways that you can stop your bad habits, specific strategies to stop bad habits and to gain good habits. So that'll be next Thursday. I think it's the 20th of July at 9 p.m. Alrighty, thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate you being here. And remember, do something different. Go somewhere different. Go to a museum. Go to the zoo. Just take a walk around the block. Look for the rabbits all hopping around the yards. Look for the squirrels. Look at the birds. See something different. Notice things around you. Smile at people. Put your grocery cart back when you're done at the grocery store. Do something different. Talk to somebody new. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching tonight. See you next time. Bye.